We're going to look at how to find the surface area of a rectangular prism. So here's our rectangular prism where the length is 6 inches, the width is 4, and the height is 3. Okay, we actually have two different methods for finding the surface area. One method is to find the surface area of each pair of sides and add them all up. And the other one is to use this formula. I'm going to explain both methods. Okay, the first one is to look at the diagram and find the area of each face. So the face on this side measures 6 by 3. So if I have a side that measures 6 by 3, the area of that is 18. Okay, but as I know, this front side also has a matching back side over here. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to multiply it by 2. So that's going to give me an area of 36 for those two sides. Then I'm going to go down to this end and look at that face. Well, that is 3 high and 4 deep. So let me go over here and draw that. It's 3 inches tall and 4 deep, so that area is 12. But again, I have two faces. I have the one on this side and have the one on this side. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to double that. So that's 24. Okay, now let's look at the top and the bottom. Okay, the top is 6 long and 4 wide. So I'm going to draw that. That is 6 by 4, which is 24 square inches. But I have to double it because I have a top and a bottom. And so that adds up to 48. Now let's add that all together. So let me grab my calculator. I've got 36 plus 24 plus 48. And that adds up to 108. So it's 108 square inches. And that is my total surface area. Okay, so that's one method. Now let's go over here and look at the second method. The second method is to take and find the perimeter of the base. So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking the lateral area. So I'm going to draw it out for you. This is 6, and remember the height is 3, and then this face I'm going to add on to it. The height is still 3, but that length is 4. Then if I pull around to this back side and I open it up, it's going to be another 6 and still a height of 3. And then this last side over here, if I fold it open, is again going to be 4. Okay, so I've taken the sides and opened it up. So I'm going to add all that up, and that is basically the perimeter of this base, and that's going to add up to 20. So I'm going to take my perimeter, which is 20, times the height. Well, the height of that is 3. So perimeter times height, and that's going to give me a total of 60 for the perimeter times the height. Then I'm going to go back and add my base areas. So the parts I haven't added in are the top and the bottom. So let's look at the base areas. Okay, my base is 6, and this distance is 4. So I've got 24 square units, and I have 2 of those because I have a top and a bottom over here. So I'm going to add 48 to it. So I'm going to add 60 plus 48. 60 plus 48 is 108. So as you can see, I'm getting the same answer. That's 108 square inches. Okay, so you've got two methods you can use. Now let's try that. But this time, let's look at a rectangular prism. Okay, rectangular prisms are really a little bit easier to use your perimeter times height plus your base areas. So that's the formula I'm going to stick with for the rectangular prism. Okay, let's take our prism. We have a hexagon as our base, and the hexagon is 6 on each side, and our height is 8. So let's look at our base and find our perimeter. So the perimeter of the base is 6 times 6, or 36, and then the height is 8. So I'm going to plug in here for perimeter, 36, and 8 for my height. And that's going to give me my lateral area, which is the sides if I open it up. So let's multiply that out. 36 times 8. So 36 times 8 is going to give me 288. So 288 is my lateral area. Now I've got to find my base area. Well, my bases are hexagons. Well, the formula for a hexagon is 1/2 AP. I'm going to find the area of that and then double it because I have 2. So let's go down here. I'm going to do 1/2. A is apothem and pre is perimeter, but then I'm going to double it. So when I double it, this half just cancels out. So really all I need to do is take my apothem times my perimeter, and that gives me both base areas. Well, my perimeter, I've already figured that out. That's 36. It's the same perimeter as I'm using up here. But I do need to know my apothem. Okay, now to do the apothem, we're going to have to work a little bit harder. We're going to have to look at a equilateral triangle that falls within this hexagon up here. So I've drawn it down here, and we know the side of the hexagon is 6, okay, and we have to figure out the apothem. So I'm going to draw in this apothem, which is the altitude of this equilateral triangle. It cuts the side opposite here in half, so I have 3 on this side, and I have 3 on this side. Well, you know, in an equilateral triangle, all the angles are 60, so when I draw in the altitude, that makes this one over here 30. So I'm now working with the 30, 60, 90, where the short leg is 3. Well, to go from short leg to long leg, I take the short leg times the square root of 3, and that gives me the long leg. So I'm just going to take 3, square root 3, and that's equal to my apothem. So I'm just going to plug that in here, 3 square root 3. Okay, so now let's clean that up a little bit. 3 times 36 is going to be 108 times the square root of 3, and that gives me the area of both of my bases. I now add my lateral area plus those 2 base areas, and I have the total surface area. So I'm going to add this 288 and this 108 square root 3, and I will have my answer. Now, let's look at this for a second. Can we add these together? I hope you say no, because this has a radical with it and this one doesn't. So there's our answer, and we would just have to leave it in units squared, so inches squared, centimeters squared, whatever it is, and there's our final answer. Hope this video was helpful.